I'll mess up your title now. You're the Executive Director of the Georgia Commission of Equal Opportunity and formerly the Director of the Workforce Development. So he ties everything together with education and workforce development and what employers across our state think about what's going on with our system. So take care.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Like Elizabeth Taylor said to her 7 husbands, I won't keep you long, so I do appreciate the opportunity to be here. A lot of you I know, Joe and Andrew and Michael there, and Dr. Pam Speak. It is so good to finally meet you. I have spoken to you on the phone many times and tell Don I need to meet him again down at that German bakery there in Stone Mountain there for an afternoon snack. I'll call him down this afternoon. Thank you all so much for having me. I'm going to be very brief and try to tie it all in together. First of all, let me share with you that I'm formerly a state representative out of Gwinnett County, and then I got appointed by Governor Deal to lead the workforce development. 7 months after that, I got moved over to a 2-division agency, which is Georgia Commission on Equal Opportunity, where we advocate for everyone having an equal opportunity to succeed in this great American dream that we participate in here in this country. First of all, I want to say this. When it comes down to education, no matter what side of the fence you're on, this is my philosophy. Homeschool, private school, charter school, public school, virtual school. Whatever it takes to educate these children, we need to do it. And I'm going to share with you why. And I live in Gwinnett County. My superintendent is Alvin Wilbanks, and we went toe-to-toe. And I'm part of that Making the Grade video that Joe spoke about. I'm all over that video because I believe parents should have an option as to where that child is educated if we are to continue and move forward as an educated society. We can no longer, someone mentioned it here, lock a student into a zip code and force that child to go to that school system because of the zip code they live in. I think parents should be given an option as to where those children are educated. Well, why are you saying that, Melvin? There was a study done, I believe, about Georgetown University, and this is cross. Let me say this. What's happening in Georgia is just not restricted in Georgia. It's happening all over this country. I firmly believe that education is going to be the 21st civil rights issue as we move further because it's affecting everything that we do. There was a study done at Georgetown University. They tracked 100 students that entered the 9th grade. Out of that 100, guess how many will finish high school? 56. Out of that 56, guess how many will go on to a 4-year institution of learning, research like a Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, Morehouse, and Spelman? 26. Out of that 26, guess how many will finish on a 4-year track in 4 years? 6. That's where we are. So when I have Vice President of Northrop and Grumman come into my office and say, Mr. Everson, we had an ad in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. We were attempting to hire 60+ skilled electrician, electronic majors. We could not find them. That hurts in the economic arena. That hurts Georgia. That hurts us. What are we doing? First of all, let's face the facts. We should always prepare little Johnnies and Susan to go to Georgia Tech, Morehouse, Spelman, or UGA, or heaven forbid, the game down to South Carolina. But let's face the fact, every little Johnny and Susan will not get there. So what do you do with those students who know around the 8th grade or the 9th grade, I am not interested in going to Georgia Tech or Morehouse or Spelman. But what else is out there that I can do or seek a trade in to provide myself or provide a decent living for myself and my family? Do you realize right now Georgia Power, with the expansion of the plant out from Augusta, they're having to bring in welders because we don't have enough in Georgia? As I speak, 75,000 per year. That's nothing to laugh about. Welders are so in such short supply in the state of Georgia. The governor launched an initiative out of the Governor's Office of Workforce Development, Go Build Georgia, because those skilled trades are not being filled in those pipelines because we don't have enough. Go to the carpet capital of the country, up in Dawson. I was up there over a year ago, and he said within 2 years I would need over 4,000 maintenance technicians. We don't have that many in the pipeline. Starting salary, $50,000. So we need to start early in our education system, wherever they are, to expose our students to other career path options, just in case they don't want to go to Georgia Tech, just in case they don't want to go to the University of Georgia, Morehouse or Spelman, but at least introduce them to other career path options. My counterpart in the state of Alabama was a good example. His son went to Auburn University because his mom and dad wanted him to be a Tiger and a War Eagle. Went to Auburn University, got a degree in finance, came out, got a nice job sitting in the corner office making good money. The young man came home one day and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to a technical college." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I found this trade where I'm comfortable with working with my hands. That's what I want to do." And he said, "But we sent you to Auburn." He said, "You all wanted me to go to Auburn. No one asked me what I wanted to do with my life." And he said, "Oh my God, I wish you had told me that. I could have saved over $150,000 going to Auburn." He said, "But no one asked me." So we have to speak to our children and find out what it is they're best interested in and put them on that career path, because I see it all over the state. I'm telling you, I see it all over the state. In a board meeting with corporate executives from Rubbermaid and Coca-Cola, their tendency is to hire from, I'm going somewhere with this, the Ivy League schools. You know what corporate America is telling me every time I sit down in the Chamber of Commerce meeting and I talk to them about recruitment and hiring? He said, "You know what we're lacking in our workforce? Soft skills. They don't know how to report to work on time. Can't get along with the coworkers. The production, the work background is just weak. Inappropriately dressed." I hear it every single day. And the vice president of Coca-Cola shared with me. He said, "Mr. Everson, what we have decided to do now, instead of continuing to recruit from the Ivy League schools because they're lacking those soft skills, they're coming down to those level B schools, the universities that you don't think about." He said, "That's where we find our best workers because they want it. They want it." So Georgia, we're going to have to do a much better job. And I grew up in Georgia, in South Georgia. 7th or 10th kid. My father had a 5th grade education. My mom taught in the public school system about 20-something years, and she retired. My dad made sure failure was not an option. You didn't act up, you didn't cut up in school, because if you did, not only did they whip you, everybody in that neighborhood got on you. He said, "I send you to school to get an education because I was not able to complete my education." And on graduation day from high school, Georgia, he gave us all the same gift, a set of two-piece set of Samsonite luggage, because you were leaving. We all did the same thing. And from that 5th grade education, Tuskegee University Veterinary Medicine, University of Tennessee Electrical Engineering, FAMU University, manager of Department of Revenue for Governor Scott down in Florida, Medical College of Georgia, professor at nursing at Macon State College, trade schools, auto mechanic, now management associate with General Motors. Yours truly, Albany State University, 23-year retiree. And my younger brother, Georgia Southwestern graduate. What's the university here? Strayer University, got his 2nd degree. And I tell educators, everyone that's involved in education, we need to stop dithering and sit down at the table and talk about how we can come up with the right solution, because I turned 56 last Tuesday. Ever since I've been in Georgia, Georgia has always been at the bottom when it came to education. I'm tired of hearing that story. I'm tired of hearing that. We can put a man on the moon in 20 years. We can change Georgia education trajectory in 5 years and put Georgia in the forefront of education and stop letting us be the laughingstock of the country when it comes to education. Will it be difficult? Yes. But is it worth it? Yes. Because you said it best, sir. Every person involved in education, their main concentration should be on that child sitting in that seat. Not your tenure, not whether you get reelected or not. Your focus should be on that child, because that's who dependent on everything that revolves around that school, whether it's the janitor, the bus driver, or the administrator, or the principal, or the teacher in the classroom. Our main focus should be on that child. And it saddens me to hear, Michael, the dropout rate, 60%. In the inner city of Detroit, African American males like me, 19% finish high school. 19%. But what does that have to do with you? They're going to end up in a human cargo warehouse we call a jail, and your taxes are going to take care of them at $56,000 a year for the rest of their life. It's economics. We need to get in front of this thing. That's why I'm homeschool, private school, charter school, public school, virtual school. Whatever it takes, we need to do it, because these young people, they're dependent on us. A lot of them, it's not as if they can't succeed. I used this example before. I was down in Southeastern Technical College talking to a GED class, 56 in the class. I stereotyped the class before I got there. Not by race, but by age. 75% of the students in there, they were under the age of 30. Under the age of 30. And I said, help me understand what I'm witnessing. She said, Mr. Everson, it's simple. A small percentage of them had come from dysfunctional family, had family problems. She said, but the vast majority of them, they didn't see any relevance to the rigor in the classroom. Therefore, they got bored, burnt out, and they dropped out. Because they knew, number one, they weren't going to Georgia Tech, they weren't going to Georgia, they weren't going to Morehouse or Spelman. Number two, they didn't see other options. They were not exposed to any other things out there or career paths. So, to his credit, Dr. Barnes has implemented College Career Ready, introducing students to career options other than your traditional four-year institution if you want to go that route upon completion of high school. Which brings me to my closing point. When a student goes to University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Morehouse, or wherever, and they spend their first semester in remedial courses, that's a sad indictment on our public school system. I'm here to tell you.
That's right.
The bill ought to go back to the district.
That was my point. And Nancy and I have spoken about this. Maybe someone should introduce some legislation that says, if Gwinnett County sends me a student and that student has to take remedial courses for the first semester, we need to send that bill back to the Gwinnett County School District, because you sent me a child unprepared for college. The report came out. 1/4 of American high school students aren't even college material ready. That's alarming. 1/4. Subject matter, I'm glad they're getting it, but look at the cost. When they walk across that stage and we say, Dr. Speaks, no, you've seen it. You've satisfied all the criteria set forth by the State Board of Education, thereby we award you this degree, but I get to Georgia, I have to take a remedial course.
Man, that's ridiculous.
We shortchanged that student. We did not prepare that student. Because if the grades reflect that they're college material ready, when they get to UGA, they should be able to do college work. But it's not happening. I had a meeting with Chancellor Huckabee. They see it all over. Interim Superintendent Errol Davis, he spoke about it a month ago with his education team in the Atlanta Public School System. It's happening all over this state. So those are the issues. However we need to plug those holes in our educational system, we need to plug those holes, because it's economics. And businesses, when I was on the job creation and economic team down at the Capitol, that's one thing that, number one, how's your education system? Can you guarantee me a qualified, trained, educated workforce if I decide to drop Baxter Pharmaceutical over in Covington, Georgia? Or Caterpillar out from Athens? Or Tractor Supply down in Little Georgia? All of these jobs are coming. We have to be on the forefront of having the best educated, trained workforce this state and this nation has ever seen, if we're going to turn this economic situation around. Because businesses go where the best education systems are, and those states that are moving in that direction and preparing their workforce to take advantage of the jobs that are available and the ones that will become available. And speaking of that, a lot of jobs we lost in the recession, let's face the fact, they're not coming back. But they will be replaced with jobs that will require a new set of skills. And if we don't adequately prepare our workforce with those skill sets, those companies will go elsewhere. So those who were on the board, I appreciate it. I know it didn't turn out the way you want to, and I personally plug that. Dr. Speaks, I've always admired you for your work there. And I know you guys have worked under tremendous circumstances out there, and Nancy, this gentleman here, it's very difficult. But one of you said it best, listen. That's the most important thing, because when I was in the legislature, I got 3,000 plus emails on a dogfight meeting. They come at you, but you know what got my attention the most? When a person who took off work, took time away from work to come to my office and talk to me about an issue. Not a formatted email, a face, because I knew they were serious about that issue. A person that could least afford to take time off of work, but they took time off of work to come say, Representative Everson, this here, you need to take a serious look at it. And you can go back to my district now. Before I cast any vote, I touched bases with my school board members, my superintendent. We didn't always agree, but I was accessible to listen to what they had to say. Because we don't have all the answers down there when everything comes at a rapid pace. Joel, you know, and we have opportunities to read, but that information is coming in so fast and you have to cast a vote. And each time I cast a vote, I want it to be an educated vote, an informed vote for my constituents. Does it mean you have to go against your party sometimes? Yes. I did that with Governor Perdue. He called me down to my office and on this vote, I said, well, Governor, I get, and I said, Governor, one thing about it, I can vote for you, you can't vote for me. My constituents sent me here to represent them. So when you do what's right for the constituents, you don't have to worry about getting reelected because they will see it. So education, I'm passionate about it. I know Nancy is. Thank you so much for these. And we need more of these around the state so people can hear Andrew all sides of it, because at the end of the day, it boils down, it comes down to the child in that seat. What's best for that child? And one size does not fit all. We all learn differently. One size doesn't fit all. We have to get out of that mindset. We have to get out of that mindset. And I'm a big advocate for school choice, and there's no bones about it. I believe parents should have a choice in where that child is educated. No, gone are the days when you lock a child into a school district because of the zip code. I'm telling you, that has failed miserably. It has failed, and I see it. When I traveled to South Georgia in a second grade to tell the young lady, the teacher, and she was talking to her about soft skills, good work ethic. She said, I won't need that. Because when I grow up, I'm going to get 3 checks from the government. Third grader, second grader, I mean. This is what she told the teacher. I won't need that. I won't need good work ethic. That's where we are. I don't blame the young girl because that's the environment in which she grew up. But think about how many other little kids she's telling that to. And multiply that. You say, well, this guy's preaching. I know I'm preaching to the choir. I see the residual effects of students not being adequately prepared when they leave the halls of high schools across this state and across this country. It's costing us billions of dollars. Billions of dollars.
The majority of our state budget. It's the majority of our state budget.
Majority of the state
Over
budget.
50%.
And America used to be #1 when we have some great institutions, but we've fallen to number 11 when it comes to education. Behind South Africa, Vietnam, Korea. And these nations are leapfrogging in front of us. And saw this slide presentation from the last time I spoke. It basically said 25% of China's smartest people is more than the entire United States.
Say that again.
25% of China's top IQ is more than the entire population of the United States. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're competing against. So when I see dismal stats like 60% dropout rate, it's pretty bleak to me. Pretty bleak. But I'm optimistic. Common Core, I don't know where you fall on the issues, but do your homework on it. You brought out some good points. Do your homework on that issue. That's all I can say. I'm not speaking I'm speaking in capacity of Melvin, not for the governor or anything like that. Even though he is my boss. I have to be careful what I say. But do your homework on this. And he and I, we've had candid conversations about, Nancy, you know me, this is what you see is what you get. I put it out there. Because I am tired of Georgians and Americans being given half-truths. We need an educated society, an educated voter when you cast those votes. I don't care if you got a D by name, I don't care if you have an R by. At least know why you are voting for that person. It has gotten us in so much trouble. I'm telling you, it's gotten us in so much trouble. So education, in order for us to remain competitive, in order for us to remain number one, in order for us to continue as a society as we are, we're going to have to think outside of the box when it comes to education in this state and in this country. So, with that, I vote. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of Melvin's, and we talk about these issues a lot. And I think that the Department of Education really needs to hear from us and be shaken up. They need a reform in the way they do business. In closing, I want to also acknowledge that the Kingston campaign has been here with us, and they come to listen, just like Melvin was talking about, which is so important. And Representative Kingston sits on the committee with education, appropriations, but also the subcommittee for health and human services. Right. Okay. And education's in some of that. Because he spoke at one of the meetings and he said that. So he listens to us. I'm a big fan. He's running for Senate. If you want to talk to his campaign rep, she's here. So I'm a big fan of them. So thank you for coming, and please tell Representative keep fighting up in DC for us. And I'm going to hang around, and so if you have any questions, let me know. Some of the stuff I'll follow up with emails. If you have questions, I'll be here. So thank you so much.
You should have here.